What's up, Laker Nation? Welcome into the Lakers Report. I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther, breaking down all the latest Laker news and rumors. But today, we're heavy on the news side, and we're starting off with a little thing that I like to call the first seed in the Western Conference. The Lakers have locked it up after their win over the Utah Jazz. That means they will 100% play whoever the 8th seed is in the Western Conference. Now, the last time the Los Angeles Lakers were that number 1 seed was back in the 2011-2012 season. That's when they lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference semifinals. So it's a really big deal that the Lakers have snuck back in to that number 1 seed. Now, it was never really in doubt. Once we got to the Orlando bubble, everyone kind of knew Lakers were going to be the 1 seed. But to have it written in stone and making it official is a big deal. In that win over the Jazz, the Lakers won it 116-108, but the box score was a little closer than I think the actual game was. The Lakers had this one locked up pretty early on. They just let the Jazz go on a little bit of a late game run. And the king of LA, LeBron James, had this to say about locking up that number 1 seed. He said, "They said I couldn't do it. I'll enjoy this one. They said I can't do it." Now, who exactly they is that said the Lakers couldn't do it, I'm not 100% sure, because I'm pretty certain a lot of people were certain that the Lakers were going to be at least 1 or 2. But now what really matters is who they're going to face in the first round. Right now it looks like it's the Memphis Grizzlies. They've got the 8th seed currently locked up, but the Blazers are only 2 games behind them, as well as Greg Popovich's San Antonio Spurs. The New Orleans Pelicans are creeping up as well. Although they're at number 11, they're only 2.5 games back as Zion Williamson continues to steadily increase his level of play. Sacramento Kings, the other California team, 28-38. They're 3 games behind as we film this video. Same with the Phoenix Suns. They are 3.5 games behind. Don't see them catching the Memphis Grizzlies, but they could sneak in there if they play really well, and the Grizzlies play really, really bad. Now, as I mentioned, it was 2011-2012 that the last time the Lakers were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So how old were you? Because I know you're lifelong Laker fans watching us there on the Lakers Report. So scroll down to the comment section. Let me know how old you were. That was 8 years ago. I'm getting old here. 8 years ago was 2012? God, seems like it was just yesterday. And if you are a diehard Lakers fan, and if you've been a Lakers fan since 2012, that probably means you're already subscribed. But if you're not, we're not going to hold it against you. We're not going to claim you not as a Lakers fan. All you got to do is hit the big red button. We make it real easy for you. We put it in the description. We put it in the comments. And we make that button real big that says subscribe. All you got to do is hit it, turn it gray. That means you've subscribed to the Lakers Report. Also, make sure you turn on those notifications so that you don't miss a single video. Now, Anthony Davis and LeBron James have been playing terrific basketball together in the bubble. But since they have the number 1 seed, is it time to rest the stars? Now, Anthony Davis has been putting up 30 points per game and 9 rebounds, blocking shots left and right, and shooting the ball really, really well. LeBron James hasn't been as aggressive as we're used to, but he's still creating well for his teammates. He's still rebounding the ball and scoring the ball pretty efficiently at 19 points per game, 35% from 3. But I think the Lakers got number 1 seed. LeBron James is 35 years old. We know Anthony Davis knows how to play basketball. I think it's time to give them a break. Maybe play them here and there, play them in short spurts, but there's no reason to play them for their remaining 5 games and give a risk of injury or risk of fatigue for either of those guys. Now, do I still want them to knock the rust off? Yes, I think that's important, but give them a little time off here and there if I'm Frank Vogel. They've got the Oklahoma City Thunder coming up. That's a good game for the Lakers to win. The Rockets, that's a game I think you rest them. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, just let them take a break. Indiana Pacers, the Denver Nuggets, and then that Sacramento Kings game is going to be the last and final tune-up game before the NBA playoffs. That's one that I don't think we'll see LeBron and AD in. Now, do I think they'll play the rest of the time? Yeah, absolutely, because they lead this team in minutes per game, but I think you got to give them a little bit of a break. You can't be playing them 35 minutes a night going into the playoffs. It's time to give them closer to 25, maybe 28 minutes a night, just to kind of scale back and make sure they've got some nice, fresh legs. Yeah, I know everybody's got fresh legs coming out of Corona, but give them the freshest legs possible by giving them some time off in these games. Now, let's say AD and LeBron sit out. Well, this team isn't quite as exciting, but you get a lot of fan favorites out on the court. Maybe you go with Alex Caruso, Danny Green, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, JaVale McGee. We're going to get to see some more J.R. Smith, some more Dion Waiters, some more Dwight Howard, some more Markieff Morris. Give those role players a chance to really get nice and tuned up by giving AD and LeBron the little bit of a rest that they deserve and really that they can take now that the Lakers aren't falling any lower than that number 1 seed. But what do you guys think? Maybe you don't want to watch the role players. Maybe you still want LeBron and AD playing 35 minutes a night. Should the Lakers rest their players? If you think yes, type Y. If you think no, type N. I'm going to type my Y for yes. Now, do I mean sit them all 5 games that are left? No, absolutely not. But do I mean limit their minutes a little bit? Put them on like a 20 to 25 minute restriction? Yes, absolutely. Now, here's what I want to do. I got to tell you about this deal at Fanatics because we are doing you a disservice if we keep this from you. So when you go to chatsports.com/LakersMask, you get a Los Angeles Lakers face mask, a face covering, because you got to wear them everywhere, especially in Los Angeles right now. I know that it is crazy out there. So you got to get these face masks. The best way to do it is at Fanatics. Chatsports.com/LakersMask. You want 1, if you want 2, if you got 3. If you're having a socially distanced party, get a 4-pack. That's the party pack. Go ahead and pick one up today at chatsports.com/LakersMask. We're just trying to keep you safe, and we're trying to keep you healthy. Now let's talk about that 8 seed and who might be getting it. The Portland Trailblazers. Could they be the team to upset the Lakers in the first round? Some NBA insiders and NBA executives believe that the Lakers are going to have a run for their money against the Portland Trailblazers. Now, the Portland Trailblazers got Zach Collins and they got Jusuf Nurkic back, both vital members of their starting 5. And Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are amazing guards. And don't forget, the Lakers don't have their starting point guard in Avery Bradley who would guard a guy like Avery Bradley or a guy like CJ McCollum. So would the Lakers be able to contain those guys? I'm not 100% confident that's the fact. I mean, this is their starting 5 now, which is head and shoulders above what it was going into the bubble. They got Dame and CJ in the same backcourt, 2 of the best guards in the Western Conference, heck, in the NBA. Carmelo Anthony, who I still believe is really not that great of a contributor on a winning basketball team, but he's been better than I expected. But now you got Zach Collins, who is a junkyard dog down low, and Jusuf Nurkic, who's averaging 24 points per game in the bubble. But we're going to talk about him more here in just a second. So if the Lakers and the Blazers match up in round 1, how many games would that series go? I think you'd get 1 or 2 more games out of that than you would against a team like the Memphis Grizzlies or the New Orleans Pelicans. But I still think it's a 5 to 6 game series. I don't see the Lakers dropping a series to the Portland Trailblazers. Now, the guys that worry me for sure are Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum because they are 2 of the best backcourt in the NBA. 29 points per game and 23 points per game. You also get great assists from Damian Lillard and great shooting from both these guys. But the guy who worries me the most now for the Trailblazers, for the guy we didn't see in the regular season, was Jusuf Nurkic. Because he's back, and he's back with vengeance. Because he is playing a great game down low for the Portland Trailblazers. In the 2 games in the bubble, he's putting up 24 points per game, 9 boards, dishing the ball real well for a big man at 5 assists, and he's blocking 3.5 shots per game. Now, that's, of course, just in 2 games, so we get a very limited sample size, but I think he might be able to bully guys like JaVale McGee down low. So do the Trailblazers worry me? A little bit more than teams like the Memphis Grizzlies and the New Orleans Pelicans. Do they worry me enough to say that that's going to be an upset? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Laker fans, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and I'll see you next time.